Hello fellow seamsters. This video is going to be the first in a potential series I'm calling Bagmaking Basics, where I give you some little chunks of how to make bags, like a backpack, duffel bag, messenger bag, that kind of thing if you're interested in doing that, rather than having to watch an hour-long tutorial of the whole thing. In this video I'm going to be talking about gussets, and in particular zipper gussets. I'm going to tell you what a zipper gusset is, what it does, and I'll show you how to make one. If you end up liking this video, clicking like is a great thing to do. If you haven't watched my stuff before, maybe you'll be moved to subscribe to my channel. And if you have questions, comments, or suggestions for future videos in this series, post them in the comment section below. I'm going to refer to backpacks a lot, but you could use this method for other styles of bag as well. So if you take two panels of fabric and sew them together with some way of accessing in between them, like a zipper in this case, then you've made a bag or a pouch or whatever you want to call it, but it doesn't have any third dimension other than how much you can expand the fabric just because of its natural flexibility. If you want it to have some depth to it, then you need to add a gusset. And a gusset is just this strip of fabric that goes between the two panels. So if you imagine the back panel of this pack and the front panel of this pack are exactly the same as the two panels of this little pouch, but they're connected with a gusset. And I could have made this gusset an inch wide, 6 inches wide, 100 inches wide, whatever I want, depending on how much volume I want in this bag. So simply, a gusset is just a strip of fabric connecting two panels of a bag together. You could also have, the back panel, a gusset, another panel, and a gusset, and another panel, and a gusset, and as many as you want. Obviously, it's impractical. But if you wanted to separate your bag into multiple compartments, then you can just add dividers. And I'll post a link to a video over here that shows what I'm talking about. When you want to access the interior of the compartment you've made by adding a gusset, then one easy way to access it is to have a zipper built into the gusset. So by making a gusset that connects the two panels and putting a zipper in that gusset, then we've made a zipper gusset. In this particular pouch I have two zipper gussets, one that is the width of the zipper and one that I've added additional width to it. And I'll talk more about that in the segment on how to make these. In the case of this gusset, the zipper is in the middle of the width of the gusset, whereas on this backpack, technically there's a gusset and then a zipper gusset, but the effect is that the zipper is on the edge of the gusset as opposed to in the middle of the width. And for this pack, which opens clamshell, so you have full access to the interior, it's still just a zipper gusset. It's just that the part that connects the two ends of the zipper together is only at the bottom of the pack as opposed to wrapping up the sides as it does on this pack. I'm not going to get into the finer points of edge finishing. There's a couple of different things you could do. You could do a double fold or just a single fold, or you can do kind of a complicated fold over like this that hides all of the raw edges. There's options that are just not worth going into beyond that simple overview. I'm just going to talk about the basic construction of a zipper gusset. So in its most basic form, the zipper gusset is just going to be the width of the zipper. Zipper comes in many forms, and the tape can be wider or narrower, not only depending on the size of the zipper, but you can get the same size zipper teeth with narrower or wider tape. But I usually just use the zipper that I'm using as a gauge and use it to cut the strips of fabric to the width that I need them to be. It doesn't have to be absolutely perfect. And there's two options. I don't like to do math, so there's two ways I like to do this. One is to make two strips that will be sewn to the ends of the section of zipper, and then I make them a little bit longer than they need to be, then sew them around the panel that they're going to be attached to. And when I get close to the end, stop sewing and get them together, mark where they meet, cut them, sew them together, and then finish sewing to the panel. That sounds more convoluted than it is. And I've shown this method in a lot of videos, so if you check out any of my construction videos on bags, you're bound to find that. The other way to do it is the same thing, but with one piece. Just make one long piece that will go all the way around and meet the zipper, and then the same way, just stop sewing before you get to the end, leave a little bit of the zipper loose so you can join them, sew them together, and then sew it down to the panel. If you just imagine these strips sewn to the ends of the zipper could be as long as it needs to be. Obviously this would be a very tiny panel, but just sew the tabs to the end and wrap them around and meet, and you've got a zipper gusset. Now let's suppose you want more depth than just the width of the zipper, and so in this case you want a 3-inch wide gusset, 3 inches before being sewn in, so minus the seam allowance. So in that case we need to add width to the zipper by adding some strips to the edges of the zipper, and then when we sew the rest of the gusset to the zipper, we'll have a zipper gusset that is the width that we're looking for. A couple of notes on this. There's a couple of different ways to finish the edge of the zipper, and that's going to potentially affect the seam allowance. I'll put another card in the corner for a video I did a while back on finishing zipper seams. But basically you'll need to know the width of your zipper tape, the width of your finished gusset, and then that can help you figure out how wide these pieces need to be, and you have to account for your seam allowance. Or you can just do what I usually do and just make it a little bit wider than you know it needs to be, and then cut it to size afterwards. I just don't really like doing math, but so that is how you extend the width of your zipper gusset. Bonus tip, when you're doing this, don't forget to put your zipper sliders in. Ask me how I know. So by learning to make a zipper gusset, you can make a pack like this that might seem complicated, but it's just a panel on the front that's got a zipper built into it, and then an extended zipper gusset, and then another panel, and another zipper gusset, and then another panel. So there's really not that much complication to it if you know how to make the gussets. The panels are just flat panels. And with this extended width gusset, I've got plenty of room for my everyday carry items in this particular pack. So it's a great way to make a pack that provides more room than something like just a flat pack that you can only expand so much. So that's a very basic look at one of the basics of making bags, making a zipper gusset. I hope you find this helpful. If you did, you know what to do. And let me know if there's other topics you want me to cover in the future. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you next time. Man. A ton of gar and a ton of Oscars in here. It's the biggest group of Oscars I've seen in the last year. Do this without foul hooking a gar. There we go. Okay. All right. All right. Okay. All right. You're gonna just self-release. Thank you.